writing a book and getting it published, a huge endeavor and a big accomplishment when completed, which is why I was so excited to chat with Chris Slocumb, president and founder of Clarity Quest, about her new book, Starvation Marketing, coming out this fall. On this episode, Chris and I talk about the book, the recent acquisition of her award-winning firm, and what's the next chapter in her life. I'm your host, Carol Flagg. Take a listen. Well, Chris, welcome back to What's My Tagline. It's been quite a while since we chatted, and I'm so excited to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Carol. So excited to be back and speaking with you today.
Really excited to talk to you today, and especially about your upcoming book, which is what I teased our audience with at the start of the show today. But before we begin and talk about that, as you know, my first question of all my guests is if you had to describe yourself as a tagline, what would it be?
Oh, it was a tough one, but I have to say, marketing expert who speaks fluent tech. I had a very good friend of mine who gave me that tagline about 25 years ago, and I still use it. I tell him I need to pay him royalties on that.
Well, I'm someone who's not tech savvy. That is my business partner, Roberta Molina. That's her area of expertise. And I've had enough conversations with you to know that that's actually really true. You are able to talk tech pretty well and able to converse even with somebody like me who is definitely technology challenged. Let's just put it that way.
I started on the tech engineering side, and depending on who I'm talking to, I say I went to the light or dark side of marketing.
Oh, I want to be on that side.
I call it the light side. I think we're on the good side.
I like to think we are too. So yeah, I love that tagline. So first of all, before we talk about your book, it's coming out in the fall. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with Clarity Quest, and because you've got some news breaking around your business as well.
Yeah, some very recent breaking news that I'd like to announce to your audience is that Clarity Quest has received a strategic investment, and we have been acquired by a company called Supreme Optimization. Your audience who knows biotech will know them very well. They are the #1 life sciences digital marketing agency in the country. And we're very, very excited to join them in conjunction with our investors at Trinity Hunt. We have some exciting plans underway to really merge life sciences, health IT, and medical device spaces, and being able to market to that confluence of the 3 distinct subverticals.
Yeah. And we were kind of talking ahead of our recording today. We do talk about this intersection, right, where all of these are coming together.
Absolutely. We're seeing more and more confluence between all 3. And I'll give you one example. We have a medical device client, very traditional medical device. And you'd walk into a hospital, see one of their white units. But now they also have a SaaS platform that sits behind those blood units. And then they have data analysis and analytics. So you're seeing that confluence at really large company levels that were traditional medical device now have data sets, and they have SaaS. And we're seeing it on the pharma side as well, in the confluence of drug device data combos.
I would say that, just coming off of the spring conferences at Vive and HIMSS, and now, of course, going into health in the fall, that confluence that you're talking about is really the big conversation out there. And there's that AI aspect of that too, as well, right?
Absolutely. AI is going to be infiltrated into all of these different areas, whether we like it or not. But we're already seeing really huge advances both on the radiology side. I was just reading a story the other day about AI picking up breast cancer detection much more accurately than the human eye can. And then on the billing side as well, the health systems need every dollar that they can get. So if AI can help them improve their collection, all the better, right?
Yeah.
Well,
congratulations on the news. That's fantastic, and I look forward to seeing the work that you'll be doing as we go forward.
Yeah, and one final announcement, Carol, if you don't mind, like as part of this, we have just announced that we're going to be the world's first full stack marketing agency
Oh,
for life sciences and health tech. And what that means is everything from foundational messaging, visual brand, and marketing strategy, all the way through lead generation and rev ops.
wow. So it's pretty
Yeah.
much the full, it's a big stack of pancakes.
It's a big, we call it the Tower of Power.
Oh.
It's actually a trademarked Tower of Power, the marketing Tower of Power. And that is in my book as well, which I know we're going to transition to.
We are going to transition to your book, which is incredibly exciting. I know you've been working on it for quite a while, and I know that bandwidth is at a premium. So for you to actually write a book and work with an agent to look at a fall publishing schedule is actually amazing. Well, first of all, if you could share the title of the book with us.
Yes, the title of the book is Stop Starvation Marketing: 23 Power Moves for Health IT, Biotech, and IT Companies to Grow.
Wow. And the impetus behind the book, I mean, how long were you thinking about this? I mean, has it been like the last 4 or 5 years and you were just like, oh gosh, I really need to get cranking on this project? Or is this something that like you've always wanted to write a book and this is just like the natural extension of the work that you've been doing?
I've always wanted to write a book, probably for about the last 10 to 15 years, because we just had such good stories coming out of our client engagements. And there's been drafts of it sitting on my hard drive for 3 years. And then I finally met a wonderful publisher who, I'll give them a plug. There's nothing in it for me, Indie Publishing, who kicked my butt, gave me deadlines and a template. And once we got cranking through there with a very talented editor, we had it a draft within 6 to 7 months. So that made the process much more easy. But it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Again, to get high value content out. There's a lot of short form content out there, as you know.
Sure.
But this long form, like we're doing today and having a conversation, and also books and ebooks, I think are just a great way to share learnings and experience with folks that you don't get in short form.
Yeah. So starvation marketing, what does that mean?
Yes, it's an intriguing title on purpose.
It is an intriguing title, and I'm a very visual person, so I have I'm kind of going through my head here.
So starvation marketing is what a lot of health tech and bio companies do, unfortunately. And that is they put the technology and investment in R&D, which is absolutely necessary, but they put all the money there. They put the investment there first, and then marketing is an afterthought. And my feeling is betting only on the tech leads to a train wreck, right? If you do not have excellent marketing, you can have the best product in the world and it's going to fail. And time again, I would hear these things like, oh, we don't need great marketing. We're just going to go to trade shows. We'll just hire more salespeople. Oh, it doesn't matter if our marketing sucks. Our tech's awesome. Right. And that was not the case at all in the companies that we saw succeed. The ones we saw succeeded actually went through the process of building a solid marketing foundation and then investing in marketing, even to the point of like, it looks like, whoa, my goodness, you're investing a lot in marketing, but those companies succeeded.
Yeah, so interesting. I'm sure there's some stat out there, you might even know what it is, the number of startups that fail. And I would imagine in healthcare, especially after the last few years that we've gone through, right? I would imagine that number's pretty high.
I don't know the name of the number right off the top of my head, but I say it's probably north of 70 to 80%.
Yeah.
Right. And right now it's really tough to get funding. So I understand people have pulled back a little bit without as much money flowing in from venture. but you still have to allocate dollars smartly to marketing and branding efforts and communications, including public relations, because you absolutely need to break through the noise. My husband's a physician. You would be astounded at the amount of direct mail, email,
Oh, yeah.
all that he gets, right? And health tech companies don't understand, a lot of them when they're starting out, how much they're up against, how much noise they're up against.
And so they're, before we start talking about some specifics outlined in the book. So the idea conceptually at the top is that we're going to make a name because the product solves this challenge and is, cutting edge and, and probably all those things, right? Like you said, it could be the greatest product in the world. And they're thinking that they don't need marketing because they just think word of mouth, they think referrals, they think if they've got enough salespeople who are smiling and dialing, although salespeople don't really smile and dial anymore, they do email or social, that they can save money by not making that marketing investment.
Yeah, and what we'll typically see is you can get by in the first couple years with having referrals and having salespeople who know their friendlies, we call them, right? I know the CIO at Mayo. Great. Right. What's your next play? What's your next sale? Right. And we'll see those companies plateau very early in the cycle if they don't bring on marketing. And that's often when they call us, when they're in panic mode, like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're a $5 million company. We've had 2 or 3 placements. We're often in Kaiser is a big one, right? We're in Kaiser and somewhere else. And now we can't get into any other health systems, for example. Well, what are you doing on marketing? Nothing. We're going to and then COVID, they couldn't even go to trade shows, right? So right. Yeah, no presence, no content, no thought leadership, no PR, right? And so, of course, the funnel is drying out for them. So we bring them back on track using the Tower of Power and saying, okay, is your messaging solid? Do you have a strategy that's you can follow and you can measure? And then how are we going to get you the leads and pipeline that you need, plus the exposure through PR?
So obviously what's going on in the investment community is impacting a lot of startups right now. So that marketing part of it is becoming even more critical.
Yes, it's using your dollars wisely because there was free money flow for a while, right?
Yeah.
And so interest rates. And so easy to get money, easy to take on debt. Now you have to more carefully look at every dollar spent. So you better have a plan you're following and understand where your competitors are spending money. Are you even in the ballpark? What would blow your mind is we have prospects come to us who haven't even evaluated the total available market, right?
Oh.
Is the market large enough, right, to support? And oh my gosh, to get the numbers we need to get to, let's just throw out like $100 million, we'd have to capture 90% of the market. And like, how reasonable is that in a couple of years? It's not, right? So we have to make sure that companies have a large enough total available market right out of the gate, and then make sure that we can penetrate it on a scale that matches with their spend levels.
Isn't that part of like your development of a business plan to even get investors to begin with to actually have those questions answered? Or is it more fluid than that? I mean, you go to an investment company and they're like, oh, this looks like a great product, let's do it. I don't really have any sense because I'm not in that area, nor have I ever worked in the investor area. Like, how deep do they go with due diligence before they do a round of funding?
Yeah, it's amazing. You think that a lot of that would be worked out, but you'll find angel and Series A invested companies that don't have all that. I think the investors can get blinded and dazzled by the technology, as well as the founders. And the marketing plan in those plans are usually one page.
Right, right,
Right.
right,
One slide, one page,
right, right.
right? When marketing is one of the more complex things that they have to do after the R&D. So we encourage folks, even before they're going to go get their Series B, to have a really well flushed out marketing plan. And that's one of our strengths here and unique value props, is that we're one of the only agencies that can put together a full marketing strategy, attribution plan, budget, and then actually execute it. And that's where the whole stack tower of power comes in, as well. So getting that marketing strategy is really, really part of the foundation, after you have your messaging and visual brand.
Yeah. So the book itself, does it flow out that way, chapter to chapter, where it is a story start to finish? So how does the book flow?
It's a pragmatic guide that anyone from a small startup, or someone with an idea all the way through enterprise can follow, with different stories and leads for those different size companies. But it really starts with, where do you want to go? Do you want to prioritize marketing? Yes, you do. And here's why. Right? Because, or else you're going to have that train wreck. And then follows along the tower of power, why it's important to start with messaging, why you need a visual brand to stand out, why you need a marketing plan, how much should you spend on marketing? Should you base it on percentage of revenue or percentage of delta revenue or something else going forward based on what your growth or exit strategy is? So it really can appeal to a wide audience, but within our vertical focus. So it's tightly vertical focused, but then can apply to a lot of different people, across the different sizes within health IT and biotech.
Yeah. I think that a lot of companies, startup and otherwise, have starvation marketing, in the sense that whatever a company is spending on marketing, it's probably never going to be enough, right? I mean, whether you're small, mid-size, or large, there's always ways to gain, as close as you can to 100% market share, even though that's, pretty unrealistic, depending, I mean, the epics of the world have what, 50-60% market share, and that's incredible,
Right.
even talking about that. But that kind of becomes the holy grail, doesn't it? Like, this is my universe of who I'm trying to reach, and how far and fast, or not even fast, I guess, how far can I get there?
Yeah. And you want to, again, set those goals out front and then put a marketing strategy that can support those. Not everyone wants to go capture 60% market share, but they can make a bundle and make great impact on the healthcare ecosystem with a 5% market share. And for some people, that's great. Some are like, yeah, no, I want to become the dominant player in the entire industry, right? But then you need to match your marketing to what those goals are. You can't become the dominant player, the big gorilla, with a $5,000 a month marketing plan.
Right,
Right,
right, right.
right.
No, no,
But
right.
can you do smart things with marketing if you have a phased approach or match to cash flow coming in? Absolutely, you can. And you can also overspend, although I see much more of the underspend, and that's why
Yeah.
it's starvation marketing for the book title. There are those companies that overspend and are all marketing fluff, think Theranos, right? With no tech behind it. And we don't want to go in that direction either. So
Well, we don't want to go to jail either.
we don't
So
want to go to jail, and we don't want to go, I had worked for some startups before I started this, and it was like, all Porsches in the parking lot and just crazy parties and, like overspending ridiculously. And so I'm not
yeah,
advocating that at all, but I'm advocating smart spend. And that's why we have a tower of power and a methodology to follow, so that you're not overspending, but you're certainly not underspending either.
yeah. I was living in Austin with the .com boom, and I tell you what, there was a lot of bloating of marketing spends, during the rise of the .com, and probably why the bust was so fast and so hard. It really was just, fluff and marketing and not much else, right? And
Yeah.
they
Private jets don't go on the marketing budget.
Yeah.
Rule number one. If sales wants to put them on theirs, okay, that's fine. They go on the marketing budget.
No offense to private jets.
No offense to private jets. I think they're wonderful, but they don't go in the marketing budget.
So as we wrap up here, the book is out in the fall, sometime in the fall, and once the book comes out, and obviously, 3 or 4 months from now, things with what's going on from a business standpoint will really be cooking and moving. So, but what's next? Like the book comes out, that's a big milestone to write and publish a book. Is there an afterthought, a book 2, a book 3 series?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the book on the road, if you will.
Yes.
So there's going to be a lot of fireside chats, discussions, speaking, hopefully at some of the big health tech shows and biotech shows, engaging with audience, listening to them and hearing, what they'd like to hear in a book too. I came up with this first idea on my own. Now I want to throw it out to the audience and get their reaction and how I could help the ecosystem the best. And then I'm going to have my hands full leading sales efforts for our new integrated agency.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm sure there'll be no lack of ideas for book 2.
Well, I look forward to having that conversation when book 2 begins development. So Chris, thank you so much for your time today. It was, as always, a pleasure catching up with you.
Thank you, Carol. Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it.
You can learn more about Chris Slocumb at clarityqst.com and be sure to follow her on LinkedIn. Learn more about this show by visiting the program page on healthcarenowradio.com and follow me on Twitter at Carol Flagg or on LinkedIn. Until next time, I'm Carol Flagg, and I want to know, what's your tagline?